All the meats, all the cheeses. Make it an all. How you doing? I decided I better hop my cell phone in here today. So I'm still in my PJs. I work from home today. I know that's real. I don't blame you, sis. I don't blame you at all. Ready to make it do what it do. What's up, Burns? I'm not long getting off work. And when I work from home, I work my regular shift till 3:30. When I have to drive in, I don't get off till 5, which means that I don't get home till 6:15. And it makes for about a 11 and a half hour day for me. How's everybody doing? So I just wanted to go. I just wanted to come and hang out with y'all a little bit today. I'm actually streaming straight to YouTube. I normally do StreamYard, but I'm streaming straight to YouTube. What's going on with everybody? Want to say happy holidays. Hope that everyone is feeling okay. Hope that everybody is um you know everything's all good. Everything's all good with me. So what are y'all doing? What's going on? I know Queen, you say you at work. Merry Christmas to you too, girl. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, so it's man. I'm actually let me turn this monitor off. Don't talk about my hair because I did not comb my hair today. Yeah, I think that took care of it. Anyway, um, I was actually about to start editing a video. Um, and then I did a lunchtime vlog. And in the vlog, I just talked about, goals and stuff like that. So, um, what you laughing at, Vines? Anyway, I don't want to get into too much detail because I'll be uploading the video pretty soon. So, just kind of giving y'all a heads up on that. I I I was doing lunchtime vlog, every time I went in, and it's not that I stopped doing it, is if I remember. Because I have to actually remember my I have to actually remember my device because I don't always, girl, this thing's just stuff just popping up everywhere. So as long as I remember my device, then I'm good. Because I don't always like to, go live on my phone. I mean, well, when I'm at work, I do to go live, but this time I filmed a video. I just filmed a video. Anyway, I was talking about because I got away from um like doing what do they call them, like New Year's resolutions, uh because I feel like that's you're setting yourself up for failure. And the reason I say that is because we as we're creatures of habit, and it takes you doing something for about a week to 10 days for it to become a habit. Well, a lot of times the reason people don't do well with resolutions is because you make them at a time that your brain is now going to start stressing you out about getting ready for it. So, like for somebody who says, you know, my New Year's resolution is to quit smoking, it is about to be the hardest feat in your life for you to quit smoking, because psychologically your brain is saying, well, you're gonna have to get it in because we're gonna be quitting this soon, and you're gonna be, it's like your brain is locking you up. It's putting you in jail, so to speak. Yeah, it put way too much pressure. So I don't believe in it. For me, it's all about, I'm goal driven, I'm goal oriented. So I don't wait to New Year's to make resolutions and stuff. I'm constantly setting like different goals and stuff for myself, throughout the year and different things like that. What I do is I use New Year's as a time for me to stop and reflect on the goals that I have set for myself. And I use that as a time period. That's like okay, you imagine people, they're running track, right? And they're handing off the baton. They know at a certain point on the track that baton is going to get handed off. And that's a marker. That's a type of marker. So I use New Year's as a type of marker for myself. That's the time for me to stop, for me to look at the goals that I set, and then for me to evaluate whether the goal was realistic, if I'm on target, if I need to revamp what I was trying, the goal that I set for myself, if 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 it was even logical, if it's attainable. Because sometimes you set goals for yourself, and what you do is that the goal, if you're a person who you're goal oriented, you sometimes if you set the goal for yourself, it depends on your mindset. You could be extremely excited about something and you're setting all these goals, instead of allowing yourself to experience the moment of being excited about whatever you're excited about, and then taking time to sit down, pen and paper, and actually setting up whatever the goal is going to include. What do you need to do to prepare? What do you need to do to readjust along the way? How long is it going to take? Is this a short term, long term goal? Things like that. So sometimes we are so excited about, so many different things that we we jump up and we make these goals, and sometimes nothing bad ever happens. You actually achieve the goal. But there are times when the goal, once you really start looking at what that goal is, you're like, oh dang, maybe I should have fell back just for a second, because it's unattainable, or it's not the right time. Or maybe you could achieve the goal if you stretched out how long you felt like it was going to take for you to accomplish the goal. And so the reason I say that is because I got in the habit of setting 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goals, because the things that I can do in a year, it doesn't make sense. Hey, April, how you doing, honey? The things that I can do in a year, I don't need to drag it out for 5 years. Something that is going to take me 3 years, I shouldn't try to cram it into a year. And so what we have to do is we have to actually, I'm doing good, baby. Aw, thank you for stopping by. How you feeling? And I should have turned the air on. I have a ceiling fan that I bought. I bought a ceiling fan for my bedroom, and I bought a ceiling fan for my living room, which we were going to take the blades off the one in the living room, like swap them out, and then put the one. Anyway, we were going to wind up with two ceiling fans. Okay, honey. Anyway, I done got sidetracked. Anyway, the fan that we haven't put up yet, I think I'm gonna have my husband put it up in here. Because the chandelier that I bought is way too small. And so I was gonna take it down anyway because it's the perfect size for my closet, which is where my vanity is. And so anyway, that's a honeydew project. I haven't mentioned that to him yet. We're gonna see how he feel about it. I'm gonna see if he can do it this weekend. That'll be nice. It's a beautiful white fan. And I have like white, gray, going on in here. So I'm gonna see if he can put that up for me this weekend. But anyway, yeah, so that's the whole thing about goals is that I think that sometimes we allow our emotions to be in the driver's seat of the decisions that we make, and it's not always a bad thing. Um but unfortunately, sometimes it is. So I think that, if you decide, in April, what I was saying, well, the reason I was having this conversation is because I was saying I don't believe in doing New Year's resolutions. What I believe in is setting goals for myself, but I use the New Year's at that time as a marker for me to stop what I'm doing and evaluate the goals that I've set for myself throughout the year. And there will be goals that carry over, like say from last year, because if you have a 1 year goal and you actually, at the time that you're reviewing your goals that you set for yourself, you've accomplished the goal within the time period that you set, fine. But like like say for example, the goals I have for myself that this year, because I set 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and then 10 year goals. So the 3 year goals that I have for myself that I set, say last year, I still have time to accomplish those because I have last year, I have all of this year, and then I have all of next year. So whenever you set your goals, you use New Year's as a time to just stop. You're taking notes and you're looking at, like I said before, you're looking at, it was the goal realistic? You know, are you on target? Do you need to readjust? Is it truly attainable? So say for example, if you set a 1 year goal for yourself and about three months in, you say, you know what? This is way more work than I thought it was going to be. And it's going to take me a little bit longer. Yep. Yep. It's going to take me a little bit longer. So 3 months in, you say to yourself, I'm going to kick this out to the 3 year goal because it ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to be able to accomplish this goal the way that I want to. Because a lot of things you can do and you can get it done. But the question you have to ask yourself is, did you half do it? Was it done with the quality that you wanted it? Is the outcome a peanut butter sandwich or a steak? I mean, you have to figure out whether, not just whether your goals are attainable within the time period that you want to put them in, but whether they're attainable within that time period with the same quality that you want. I am too, April, but you know what? I said to myself, and this goes for me because, I'm not facing the same challenges that you are. But I said to myself, when I was trying to get them watch hours, I had my grind on. So I have to look at all that time that I invested into my channel to do what I needed to do to get where I am. Am I now going to just drop the ball? And so, if I truly want to benefit from all the work that I did, what does that goal look like? What does the goal of me coming back to YouTube look like? And I actually had a conversation, when because I was talking about when I first came on that I needed to edit this lunchtime video, because in the video, yes, I was talking about goals, talking about things I want to do for myself. And one of the things that I definitely want to do is, I'm a health and wellness advocate. I want to bring back my journals. I want to bring back Yes, I'm focusing on the mental health aspect through the personal care line, my bath and body stuff, but that's not all that health and wellness is about. I want to get back where I'm actually having conversations with the people who have, thank you, Verns, with the people who have invested in me. I want to get back having real life conversations with individuals who invested their time and their energy into this channel. And I want to do the and I think this is good too, April. I want to get back to doing my music therapy. I think sometimes on days that you are hurting so bad, I know that if you just turned on the live stream and we had the music playing in the background, even if you're laying in the bed with the worst possible pain that you can imagine, you can't tell me that that music wouldn't do something for you. I know that there are people that probably can't like physically get up and dance, but to come into the live stream and hear me say, "Oh, chair dancing is allowed." They're in a wheelchair or whatever the situation is, and so no, they can't like physically get up and dance, but if you can move your arms, if you can move your head, if you can tap your toe, if you can tap your finger and just kind of, be along with the music itself is the therapy. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I really learned how to demonstrate genuine affection in a different way by doing the music therapy, because there were so many people who came in and said, "Man, I had a rough day. I really needed this." That made me feel good because there aren't people out there doing what I did. Yes, people on here playing music and different stuff like that, but the idea behind why I did it, I feel like is unique. And I need to reinvest into that because the music therapy wasn't only helping them, it was helping me. There were times when very few people, I know Donnell was one of them. She would send me a text message and say, "You in pain, aren't you?" And I text her back and be like, "Yep. How can you tell?" She said, "I can see it all in your face." Even though I was smiling, even though I was dancing, even though um I was, trying to, be involved in everything that was going on, she could tell I was hurting so bad. And sometimes when it was over and I got up out of this chair to go downstairs, I literally like was taking baby steps and deep breaths in between because it hurt so bad to move. There were times where I was double and triple dosing my medicine and it wasn't working. And so the thing of it is, the music and the love that I have for y'all, the relationships that I've created, that sort of thing is what helped me to keep going. You know what I'm saying? It helped me to keep doing what I was doing. But then I got to a point where it was just too bad. I got too sick. My body started doing some weird stuff. And I had to stop and I had to self-care. I had to take care of me because what good is it going to be for me to be on this live stream trying to motivate and encourage other people and I can barely breathe because the pain is so bad. You know what I'm saying? So, I had to take a moment to self care. And so, what I want to do, am I perfect? No. Am I a therapist? No. But I know how to love and I know how to, not appeal, but I know how to relate and to reach out and to, you know, I know what it's like to have somebody who is willing to make that impact in your life. I know what it's like to have the feeling that somebody is there for you. I know, April, and I feel so bad for you, honey. My heart goes out to you in a way that it doesn't for anybody else because every time I read your posts on Instagram or I get an update, I'm just like you and Foodie. I'm like, oh my God, y'all, y'all my babies. Number one, that's number one. Y'all my babies, and I know when I hurt because I remember there was a time me, you, and her we was all down at the same time. And but we held on to each other. You know what I'm saying? We held on to each other. And I kind of tell I think I said this to my daughter. I might have said it to somebody else too. But in real life, I don't have a circle. My circle of my husband and my kids, I have people that I know, but I don't have people in my life that I spend like girl time with, or things like that. I recently um uh I think it was earlier this year, connected in person with somebody, another content creator. And one of the reasons we connected is because I love you too, baby. One of the reasons we connected is because when we talked over the phone, we was trying to figure out where you been. Because it's like the conversation was crazy. It was like we've been knowing each other forever. And we were just laughing and joking. And I kid you not, it was like I had been talking to her all my life. And it eventually got to a point where we was like, oh, I want to see you. I want to see you too. And I'm not a telephone person. I am not a telephone person. And baby, let me tell you something. We would talk every single day. And I mean for some hours. And at some point, my husband, when I started talking to her, he was like, who you because he my husband thought that was strange. He was just like, okay, who is this woman? Hoppo, who this woman? He was looking at me like I had three heads or something. And he was like, who are you talking to? And I started explaining to him who I was talking to. And so, he did that a few times or whatever. Then eventually he was like, oh, you talking to such and such. And I was like, yeah. And I'm just smiling and grinning like a little schoolgirl. And if you didn't know me better, you would swear that like I was talking to another dude on the phone, because that's how hard I was cheesing. And it was how happy I had become in that particular, with that particular aspect of my life, because I had gotten so accustomed to just being by myself. I had got accustomed to just not caring if anybody was around. And then on top of that, my grind was so hard that I kind of felt like maybe that's how your husband is. That maybe um I they would think it was like I was ignoring them or something because I was so busy. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't have room for somebody in my life. And so she used to joke with me all the time, and by saying, um, Toni, uh, you don't never sit down. And she used to ask me that. She'd be like, do you ever sit down? Cause like I know we had to get orders out and stuff. And she I now I built my house and I'm an hour from work. Okay. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I knew it was gonna be rough. But then when the pandemic hit and then we was working from home, but my team was never truly working from home. We been on rotation. There was about a week or so where we was 100% at home. Then they had to start coming back to the office. But I would talk to her that entire hour driving home, and then she would be on the phone, and sometimes it would be video chat. I get out the car, get all my stuff out, get everything up to my office, get all my stuff unloaded, and I'm talking to her. And then she was like, "Wait, you made it home?" I was like, "Yeah." And then she say, "Well, what you doing now?" And I say, "Well, I'm doing such and such a thing." And then she say, "But you just got off work." And I was like, "I know, and I'm tired, but I got to do this, because if I don't do this, then come tomorrow, I'm gonna be running behind." So anyway, she is the best of me because she just felt like I ain't sit down nowhere, you know. So, and I guess, that's kind of true. And my daughter and my son, they've been on me lately because they've been uh-huh. Especially when you got somebody to talk to that you can relate to and you have good conversation and it ain't gossiping and starting no mess. Cause I can't do mess. I can't do you will hear a dial tone. I don't do mess. The minute I start hearing drama and mess, I got to go. Because you have to protect your spirit. You have to protect yourself. Um, you have to protect yourself. And don't nobody, want to sit up in misery like that, with all that foolishness going on. I don't have time for that. Hmm. Yep. Because there are some times where we will sit on the phone watching TV together. And I know some people probably feel like that's crazy, but it's one of those things where if I'm watching something and I know that she's either seen it or that she is like, because we'll turn each other on to like different shows and different movies and stuff like that. And if we're not on the phone, we calling each other like, girl, did you see such and such already? And she be like, okay, okay, I ain't gonna tell you, I ain't gonna tell you, I ain't gonna tell you. She said, but hurry up and watch it so we can talk about it. So we be anxiously talking about like different TV shows and movies and stuff. We both got kids. I'm still married, but she used to be married or whatever. And just talking about different stuff, life stuff, goal stuff, business stuff. Sometimes she will get this, get an idea um in her head about something and she'll call me and we'll be talking about it, or I'll get an idea about something and we'll be talking about it. And so it's good energy to, have somebody like, like that you can exchange conversation with. And it's one of those things where we both established early on that we're not I love you, she loves, I love her, she loved me, but at the same time, if I don't hear from her, I'm not, oh, she ain't bother calling me today, and she's not like that either. But what we will do is be like, hey, either text or call or be like, hey, you good over there? Do I need to make a drive? That sort of thing. Hey, XY. Girl, what kind of foolishness was that? I don't know if you saw that. He's talking about, do you think if I shot myself or I jumped off a cliff, I would feel anything? That's crazy. But yeah, so we don't do that. Or say, for example, if we're on the phone, because there was a time when we was on the phone, and if a call came in, then we wouldn't want to get off the phone. We'd be like, girl, hold on. Now she done hung up on me a couple times, and I come back and I be like, why you hang up the phone? And she's talking about, girl, you was taking too long. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, now I know you ain't tripping, because there's been times when I don't sat on the phone. I know 10 or 15 minutes because you done forgot that you done put me on hold. But I ain't say nothing. But I ain't say nothing. But yeah, she impatient. And I think she a little spoiled too, but she ain't never gonna admit it. I was hoping that she would come on here. That's my girl. But yeah, so I don't have no circle. Yep, that's how it is too. April. Now we haven't gone that long. I know the first time we went, yep, there she is. Hey Val! I'm talking about you. There she is, April. That's my girl. I'm talking about you. As we talking about, well, we started off talking about kind of like a mental health thing, being goal oriented and stuff like that. But then I started making a comment about, not having a circle. And then I said, talking about how we wind up hooking up because we talked on the phone. You ain't do nothing. Look at you already acting guilty. but how I wound up meeting you face to face, because we, you're a content creator, and we started talking on the phone, and it got to a point where we was talking so much that we was like, what, we need to meet. And I was just talking about how, it's good to have somebody to feed off of that's not full of drama, not full of mess, don't have a bunch of crap going on. And stuff like that. And I just started referencing how, you know, how we share the same energy, and how, sometimes, oh, and I was telling them about how when we first started talking, how Stacy was looking at me all sideways, like, who are you talking to? And then after a while, it was like, oh, you talking to Val? And then it'd be like, uh, I ain't heard Val in a while. He be monitoring what's going on. So if I haven't said nothing about you, or he haven't overheard me talking about you or anything like that, he checking. Girl, he checking for you. Him and Tassie. Because the other day Tassie was like, Mama, when last time you talked to Val? I said, I talked to Val the other day. And I talk about how sometimes like when you used to talk to me on my ride home, that hour-long ride, and then I come through the door and you fussing because you be like, you don't never sit down. You don't never sit down. Uh-huh. So we're just talking about, when you make a genuine connection, and how, it's good to have, even though I feel like I don't have a circle, that I finally hit a place in my life where um you were brought to me. You were brought to me at the perfect time, because I got to a point where I got accustomed to nobody being around, and it didn't bother me. And so, I guess, um, you know, my family probably thought it was going to be a kind of a hard transition for me to go from being by myself and connecting with somebody, and not connecting with anybody outside of our cluster, and not really having conversations, to now you spending hours on the phone and video chatting and exchanging business ideas and exchanging personal views and talking about kids and talking about life, and we sharing information about movies and TV shows and all that sort of thing. Okay, Burns, I'm glad you made it home safe. You know what I'm saying? So they thought maybe it would be kind of a a little bit of a transition for me, even though it wasn't, because one of the things that we agreed on was the fact that it was it was so, the way we clicked was so natural. You know what I'm saying? And so all of that kind of came about because we were talking about, self-care, and making sure that you take care of yourself, because April, we've been connected for a really long time, especially around the time when I was trying to get monetized on YouTube, is me, her, and then Foodie Squad. And we just talked about how we like the little social media sister circle that we created. And there was a time when all three of us were facing some serious health challenges. Well, I came out, for the most part, out of mine, but because of their conditions, they're still struggling. And so that's how I was telling her, my heart, yeah, we found out how much we had in common. It was crazy. But my heart goes out to them, because I already knew how bad I felt, and my pain can't even compare to them. And it just, when you care for somebody like that, you hurt when they hurt. And so, that's kind of how the whole conversation started about the relationship that you and I have created, because you know it's nice to have something like that, especially when you either have never had it or haven't had it in a really long time. Yes. Uh-huh. And and Val Burns Junk Closet, that is the YouTube cheerleader. She's one of those kind of people. Uh, she's one of those kind of people that, if you need to know something about social media, YouTube specifically, she's definitely a go-to, because when everybody was grinding, trying to get their hours and trying to get monetized and trying to understand the rules. She was the one reading all them emails and documents that YouTube was sending, helping people understand. Because sometimes they send that stuff, and it doesn't matter what social media platform you own, but sometimes they send that stuff and it's Greek. It's like they make things very complicated because even though it's in plain English, it's not simple. And then you have to sometimes they send it and it's too simple. Like they don't include everything. They don't break it down enough. You got to go digging around trying to find another document that support that one in order for you to fully understand what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, that's right. So Burns is our YouTube cheerleader. Woo! Yes, April, I understand, but honey, please, please, please take your time, take care of yourself. Hey, pow pow, take your time, take care of yourself. Make sure that you back when you're ready, and make sure when you come back that you come back at a pace that's not gonna tear you back down. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't do you any good to come back to turn around and have to fall back again because you're doing too much. I miss going into the live streams. It sure is in Burns because I had to step away and get mine. I was like, yeah, after a while, I'll be doing these live streams on the floor. After a while, I'll be done messed up and I'll be doing these live streams on the floor. Uh-huh. I was like, she needs to step back and try to figure out, what's the dealio? What's going on? But I am definitely going to be um pow pow. uh I'm definitely going to be like I said, reincorporating um, the music therapy. Uh I'm going to be um, collaborating again. And Burns, I feel bad because Brown Girl Bella asked me to come and be a part of a panel, and I know I missed it. I know I missed it, but part of that has to do with the fact that some of these events are taking place on days that I have to drive into the office, and that's a no go. Because I'm telling you, I be jacked up when I come back to this house. I be jacked up coming, and I be on that live on that panel making no sense whatsoever. And I ain't gonna do that to nobody. But yeah, so I will be um yes. I I just can't wait because I want to do one like we did Burns where we talk about personal care, personal growth, that sort of thing. I want to do I had reached out to April and Burns and Foodie Squad and a few other people because I want to introduce. You know how Foodie does the after hours thing. I don't want to do it exactly like that, but I want to do like a girls night. I want to do like a girls night. Um, but I want to do it, and I want to do it on a regular basis. So maybe once a month or once a quarter. And I want to do it with the focus of promoting sisterhood. Not from the perspective of um just being there for another woman, but also understanding the power that we possess when we support each other from a business perspective, from the aspect of understanding how much that support can actually motivate another person, somebody who's stumbling along the way. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of those kind of people, especially with like decorating and stuff. That's not I didn't I either missed class, I was at the back of the line, they ran out or something, but I didn't get that gene. I didn't get that gene. Now, if I look at something, I can do my best to recreate it. But trying to come up with an original idea, I ain't gonna lie to you. No, you didn't miss it, April. No, you didn't miss it, April. Verns, if that's something that you do, that's definitely something I want to explore with you. Okay, April. Yeah, Verns, if that's something that you're already doing, that is definitely something I want to explore with you. But yeah, and the reason being is because my relationship with Val made me start thinking about so much. And she I'm about to tell on you, Val. What she does is she has this way of thinking about stuff. Okay, I will, April. Reborn! Oh my God, that is another sister that is phenomenal. Um, but she has a way of thinking about stuff that when she's talking, I am not kidding you. And I don't have to be sitting in front of her. But when she's talking, I'm literally like this because she's 3 years older than me. So we're really close in age. But as a person, because I turned 52 this year, as a person of my age, there was a lot of things I didn't grow up around. There were a lot of things I didn't hear, things I didn't see, things I wasn't exposed to. And her life is much different. How she was raised and what she was around and what she experienced, much like anybody else. So sometimes when we're talking about something, my brain, and it's not closed off, but what it is I just I don't I don't have that experience or that knowledge to pull from. And then she'll say something, and I'll be like, so now I'm really listening. And I say to her, well, I would have never thought about it like that. And I always tell her that I listen, and it is not, I'm not stupid. And it's not about the level of intelligence, it's just about your life exposure and experience. So what happens is I tell her all the time, when she's talking to me and she says the things that she say, it turns this little switch on in my head. And I'll be like, uh ask her a question or say something, and then she'll be like, no. And see, to her, the funny thing is when she'll say something to her, it's just like, whatever. But when she's saying it to me, I'm like, where did it come from? And she'll be like, I don't know, just the way I think, just the way I think. And she just kind of blow it off. And I always tell her, I love to just listen to her saying things because what it does is it forces my mind to open up. Now, let me tell you something. I am a geek by nature. I can talk you under the table when it comes to business, when it comes to computers, when it comes to health, when it comes to a whole lot of things. The problem with that is I learned those things. 52 years old, I can't go back and relearn the stuff or I can't go back and learn the stuff in life that I don't know now. It's too late. But what I do is I try to surround myself with individuals, whether it's virtually, however it may be, um, that don't mind sharing knowledge and information, because that's me. And I tell people at work all the time, if I know, you know. And the reason is I'm not afraid to share with you what I know, because first of all, somebody had to teach it to me. You know what I'm saying? And if you are not willing to be free with the knowledge and information that you have, that's stupid. Commission has a song that says love isn't love until you give it away. You can holler about loving somebody all you want to, but who you loving? And if you only loving yourself and ain't loving nobody else, now you got to love yourself. But if that's the only person that you loving, seem to me like that's a miserable life. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I also think about knowledge. You give out as much as you can, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of those kind of people where I feel like after a while, when I have absorbed so much, sometimes I go, and I used to do this all the time on my live screen. I go, etch a sketch, etch a sketch, etch a sketch. I got to erase something to make room for something else. And so that's another reason I believe in scribing. That's another reason I believe in writing stuff down, because what happens is, for me, that's where keeping a journal comes in. What happens is you give yourself permission to release that information, because it's already documented somewhere. So if you ever need to go back and pick it up, you go back, pick it up, read it, do whatever you got to do, put it back down. But I don't know, even computers reach their capacity. Even a computer reaches its capacity. It can only hold so much information. Sometimes you have to give yourself permission to let that part of it's not that you're forgetting it, but you're releasing it and allowing it to fall back into your subconscious. So it gives you room to learn something new. And I think that's what's wrong with some people in life, is that they get so stuck in their ways that they don't want to learn anything new. But the reason that they're stuck in their ways and they don't want to learn anything new is because I feel like two things. Either they haven't given themselves permission to do what I just demonstrated, or they're afraid. And people become fearful of so much. People become fearful of so much. And sometimes what they're fearful of, it don't take much of it at all for them to be woo, 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 woo. And my daughter tells me, she says, "Oh, mom, I don't know how you survive." She said, "Because in your mind, you know," she says, "I used," and I believe I did, but I think I did it because I cared about them and I didn't know any other way to protect them. But she would say stuff like, she was, at some point she became afraid of walking down the street, because I would always tell them, you need to pay attention to your surroundings so don't nobody snatch you up and kidnap you and kill you, you know. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't think I said it like that, but at the same time, I did say it uh in a kind of a raw way, because why sugarcoat that? If you run out in the street in the middle of traffic, you're gonna get hit and killed. If you tell a child, "Oh, baby, don't run out there," and you don't really give them the full understanding of why they shouldn't do it, they're going to do it just to see what happens. And sometimes they might still do it. But if you say to them, "Don't you never walk out or run out in the middle of traffic, because you might get hit by a car and get killed." When that child hit that curb, that thought is going to be in their mind. So they're going to be paying attention, hopefully, to the traffic that's coming, so that they know they can cross at an appropriate time. But to according to the way that my kids believe, I always took it to the extreme. But for me, I much rather somebody say to me, "Oh, don't eat that. That's poisonous. It'll kill you," than, "Oh, don't eat that. You might get sick." Nah, boo boo. If it's poison, you're likely going to die. I want to know the worst of the worst of the worst, so I can make a decision about what it is that I'm going to do. I don't want nobody trying to sugarcoat nothing for me. And then it actually turns out a lot worse than what they said. But everybody don't think like that. Everybody don't think like that. And so that's why I say, going into the new year, don't set yourself up for failure. Don't don't allow yourself to be baited into making a New Year's resolution and making empty promises to yourself. Use that time to, even if you say every New Year's, I'm going to ah even if you say every New Year's, I'm going to reflect on my goals for the previous year. That's rational to me. But a lot of people, they mess themselves up because they are so emotionally connected to the promises they made to do something or to not do something when the turn of the year comes. And then they are struggling mentally because they feel like they failed. The only way that you can fail at something is if you truly, truly, truly want that something and you just decided, I want it, but I'm just not going to do it. So you can fail without even trying. But if you tried and you gave it your best and it just didn't happen, you need to look at it in a way that either it wasn't meant to happen, it wasn't the right time for it to happen, or you need to step back and evaluate how you tackled that thing for it to happen and whether you're going to try again. So they say if you get back up and try again. I don't know about that. You have to think about that thing, look at that thing, and then decide if you're going to try again, because maybe trying it the first time just gave you the confidence for you to try something else. Maybe it's not meant for you to try that thing again. Maybe that situation was meant to be a stepping stone to something better, to something greater, to something more impactful in your life. You don't have to try that thing again if you don't want to. Look at that thing and be like, okay, make your list, cons and pros. Okay, this didn't happen this way, da, 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 da. Okay, but the good part about it is I learned this, and this. Okay, I got my list. I got my notes. I know what I did that didn't work for me, and I know what I didn't do that maybe I should have done that probably would have worked for me better. And then you take that same thought process and you apply it to a different goal. But don't become a slave. Don't become a victim. Don't be baited into feeling guilty and because something didn't turn out the way that you had it in your head it should turn out. Because everything in life, whether it starts at A and it reaches Z or not, has a purpose in your life. Everything does. Because I had a conversation with somebody once before, and she was talking about, this was some years ago when I worked for United Healthcare. She said she was friends with somebody at work, and the friendship just blew up. I'm talking about it blew up. This girl was so hurt. And we were talking at lunch, and I said, all right, Val. I said, she said, I hate that I even met them. I said, well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it like this. If she demonstrated a personality that you were not familiar with, if she demonstrated certain characteristics that you were not familiar with, if she was a type of person that you were not familiar with, at least now you know how to handle a situation dealing with a person who demonstrated those characteristics, that personality, and was that kind of person. Before you dealt with her, you had no idea. You had no idea. So being in that relationship with that person, you could either say you hate that you even met her, or you can say, woo-wee, I learned something from that experience. And you can deposit that in your spirit. And the next time you start seeing them characteristics, the next seeing that person, those personality traits, the next time you see yourself, somebody crossing your path, and it's familiar that way, you know what to do. You don't even have to stop and think about it. Am I saying lump everybody in a bucket? No. But don't unlearn what you've learned. You learned a lesson. And am I saying don't be friends with that person, treat them with a long handle spoon? No, but what I am saying is that experience should now make you vigilant and be on the lookout. So when that type of stuff start creeping up, you can say, start checking off the boxes. Because like Maya Angelou said, when a person shows you who they are the first time, you best believe them. Okay? Believe them. And I think that, sometimes it's about people just being like being raised differently, or not really understanding how to communicate, not even understanding what communication is. I used to be one of those kind of people that if I felt disrespected, my way of communicating would be screaming at you at the top of my lungs. I'm not saying I don't do that anymore, but I really don't. But the bad part of that about that is I am one of those kind of people is when I didn't had enough, I start shutting down. So when I stop talking, that's when you need to worry. When I don't have nothing to say, that's when you need to be concerned. I had to drink me something. I'm getting parched over here. But yeah, so y'all please, going into this new year, love on yourself. Love yourself enough to try to decide, what kind of goals you want to set for yourself, and start small. Start small. I'm afraid of me because I have so much that I want to do. So when I talk to you all, I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too. But I have so much. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out, Burns. But I have so much that I want to do. And one of the most difficult things that I face about my personality is pacing myself. It's pacing myself. And my daughter, she says, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You need to sit down. And I'm sitting there thinking, girl, on days, because I called Val one time and we was on video chat and I was laying in the bed. And then she said, I can't believe you actually laying down. I'm like, yeah. She said, you must not feel good. She said, you must not feel good. I wasn't. And I had really got to a point where it wasn't just about not feeling good. I mean, I was feeling really bad. I was feeling really bad. But she was like, girl, you must not be feeling good. But my daughter, she tells me that on a regular basis, you need to sit down. You need to sit down. All right, y'all. Well, I just wanted to pop on here and speak to my peoples. I love y'all so very, very much. I will be back in the new year with the music therapy. I am going to be creating a schedule for myself to get with my fellow content creators, because you too, Reborn. I'm gonna be hitting you up too, because I've been missing a lot of your stuff. But I have been seeing you on Facebook. I think more because I've been on Facebook more than on YouTube. But I want to get with my fellow content creators who rode this journey with me to get monetized and start trying to not necessarily it is a collaboration, but it's just to bring love and joy to the masses. I know that's real, girl. Work it, honey. I'm so proud of you, girl. If there's a platform, you be on it. You be on it. And I do miss watching you put your babies together and all that stuff. I did see it wasn't a whole video, it was like a little blurb of your husband repositioning the babies like they was playing. Girl, I was cracking up. Girl, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and what's the other one? Girl, he looked like he was having so much fun. I said that wouldn't be my husband. My husband think he too much of a man's man to do something like that. But he sincerely, girl, he was repositioning babies like they was playing. They was on the sofa leaning over. I was laughing so hard. I say he is having a good time. Oh, and TikTok. Girl, look at you. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna have to hit you up. Love you too, Verns. Verns, I will be in your DMs, girl, because we got to get it together. I want to talk to you about an opportunity to work on some projects with me. I have long-term goals that I want you and I to get together. And these are goals that are definitely income generating. So I'll be getting with you. April and Foodie. Okay, honey. I will be hitting y'all up because we definitely got to get the girls. I think I want to call it something like Sister Chat, something like that. But I'll get with you in April. April and Foodie, I'll get with y'all so we can start trying to figure out how we want to set this up. I think probably for now, maybe once a quarter will be enough because I think that gives everybody time enough to rest. Oh, thank you, Reborn. All right, ladies, y'all know how we do it. We gonna get out of here, but we don't leave without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Peace, my princesses.